Let's call the meeting for the Town of Bluff City Board of Mayor and Aldermen regular meeting for Tuesday, February 7th, 2017. Roll call, please.
Alderman Stratton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Here.
Alderman Harrison.
Here.
Alderman Bowling.
Here.
Now it's prayer by Alderman/Deacon Richard Bowling, First Bluff City Baptist, following the Pledge of Allegiance. Richard.
Our dear Lord, thank you so much for the day that you've given to us and for our life and our health to enjoy it. Lord, we ask you now to be with us throughout this meeting. May the things that's made done here tonight by this board is the satisfaction of the citizens of Bluff City and also, Lord, for the satisfaction of you. So, Lord, now we ask you to be with us, keep us safe. For these things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First off, I'd like to introduce Chad Lewis and Bill Short with Bluff City Volunteer Fire Department. They've got some stuff to say.
Police department and the city have been very great working with us this year and have helped us out a lot there. And, we just wanted to give a little plaque to the city and the police department. You guys have always been there when we needed you. We want to keep that working relationship as best we can there with you guys. Y'all do a great job, and we thank you a lot. I'll give this to you. The city has helped us out a lot financially this past year, and we outfitted our firefighters with some much-needed equipment that they needed. So we really appreciate your all support, and
Thank you.
hope we can keep the working relationship the same with you guys too.
Yes, sir.
And thanks so much, Smith, for this. It means a lot. I'm sure the guys know about it. But while you're here, I'm going to say this. This city has some of the best firefighters they could ever ask for. You're very fortunate, you're very lucky and blessed. I've been on wrecks with them. I've seen what they do. Their dedication and their knowledge to what they do is amazing. They receive nothing. So you guys are the ones that we appreciate. So thanks for what you do.
See you in a little bit.
And now comments from Maddern and Craig, project updates with Dave Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington. Thank y'all for having me this evening. I have several updates, but probably most of them are the same as last month or close to it. Do have an update on the pump stations project. That's contract 1 for the USDA Rural Development Grant/loan. That has been completed. We have one outstanding item that the contractor's taken care of, but our final closeout meeting is next Wednesday, the 15th, 10 a.m. here. Lewis Trevitt from USDA will be here, and all of the final payments, and we should receive contractor's statement of warranty and their release of liens and grant of assurance. The CMOM and CAP update work that was commissioned, the field work has been completed, the smoke and dye tests, and Alan, thank you for your help. The gentleman from the city helped and did most of that work. Many defects have been identified since the last time 20 years ago, including a lot along Main Street and Carter Street that Alan had thought, based upon the flows that we were seeing at the pump station down at the bridge. So we're going to use that information. We are currently mapping those defects. Once that's completed, we're going to update the PER for USDA, RD, and then possibly change our existing project or apply for additional funding, especially if they have grant available. That's our plan. Again, contract 3, that's essentially just to update that. With those, we are awaiting that information to update the PER, and then if we wish to include any revision to those plans based upon that PER update, we'll do it with that revision. Of course, the River Bluff sewer connections, that was completed previously, and I reported that, and I was awaiting an application for payment and contacted Mr. Buchanan. He said he'd already made it to the city and y'all had paid it, so that's good. We had Did not review it, but we did review the work, and it was in good shape. Alan, you reviewed it too, didn't you? The mayor had asked me also, she noted that she had received several calls about the signal that's in operation now at State Route 44 and 19, the new signal. And we had Jason Carter, he's a traffic engineer, does a lot of our DOT work out of our Kingsport office, come over, and he sat and observed the operation. And I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. It's not working correctly.
Right.
So there are a couple of issues. This project was turned over by the contractor on April 22nd of 2016. Now, there is a 1-year warranty period. If there's any defect found with the work, I would think we could possibly go back and try to make amends with that contractor. I believe Summers Taylor was a contractor on the job, and they had a sub that did the electric work. Michael Dick was the contracting officer for TDOT, and he's been adamant that the issue is Bluff City's. TDOT is not going to handle the issue. So what I've done, what we think may be happening is either the controller is not programmed correctly and it's skipping the phase that cuts off the left turn lane from 19 on to 44, and it's not allowing the call to cause it to go back into motion, essentially skipping what he called phase 5 of the signal. Or possibly there is a loop that's damaged, and that loop is just blank, and the signal's seeing a blank going through and leaving that left turn from 19 on continuously until the entire cycle starts over, which could be.
I noticed that.
Yeah, and only activated on when other vehicles are making that left onto 44. So, but anyway, that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions. I did contact Bill Medley with Progression Electric. He's a signals type contractor, and I'm going to see what he would charge to come up and troubleshoot those items for us. And if possible, if it's a warranty item, help us get with the contractor.
Sounds good. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you all. Thank you again.
Is Amber Torbett here?
I think she's ready to come right here. I need to- Yeah.
Perfect timing. Amber Torbett with Over Mountain Men. She's came to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I found out this morning that I was invited to present, so try to not waste your time. I think that Wanda gave you a copy already.
She did.
Okay,
That's that big packet we got here.
great. So I assume that you all are familiar with the Over Mountain Victory Trail. The City of Bluff City has supported the Over Mountain Victory Trail Association for decades. You all have provided luncheons for them when they come in every September when they do the school programming at Bluff City Middle School, and that's been a huge success. As you know, the Over Mountain Victory Trail Association are volunteers, and they have a strong organization and strong partnership with the National Park Service. Bluff City is also a partner with the National Park Service for the Over Mountain Victory National Historic Trail in Sullivan County, as well as all the other communities from Abingdon all the way down to Kings Mountain. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything new, which is good. You're probably also familiar with the National Park Service gave the county several grants to clean up and make the Choates Ford trailhead down by the Swinging Footbridge. So that was a huge success, and I think the community really enjoys it. On that note, thank you so much for mowing it and maintaining it. I think it's been a great partnership between the city and the county in those efforts. Because of that success and community support, we are wanting to take this further. Abingdon has the muster grounds, a great park at their historic site where they do events for school kids all year long, just like Rocky Mount, like we have in Sullivan County. The goal is to do a master plan, a joint master plan from Abingdon to Sycamore Shoals. Sullivan County has the biggest piece of that historic trail. We have a potential of 22 miles in Sullivan County that we can certify. We have started with public property. We started with the Choates Ford Trailhead on your side of the river and the Little Patriots Trailhead on the county side of the river. And then we have done some improvements and signage and things like that at Bluff City Middle School, Rocky Mount, and so forth. So we've had some success with the school children and the community events like your annual Bluff City Days. And so what the National Park Service is proposing is they will pay 2/3 of the cost of this planning project, and they want skin in the game from the other communities. They did not dictate how much each community should contribute. You give what you can, but if you can participate and continue the support with the National Park Service, they have hired and have on retainer a consulting firm, so we don't even have to deal with all that paperwork. I've met the consulting firm. They're out of Boone, North Carolina. They're very professional, and they're just great. They've already had success projects with other trail partners in North Carolina and South Carolina. You should have an example of their work and what they're proposing. The whole part of this project for this year, once we sign a memorandum of agreement with the National Park Service, is to have a public engagement process. So it will really involve the community. They'll have some town meetings, I suspect at Sullivan East, because that's kind of the heart of our trail site. And, you know, it's neutral territory, and those are the residents that would that it would affect. So the point of this is it is a planning grant. It will come up with branding, public engagement, signage, mapping, and a video. What they've done and what they're in other communities and what they're proposing for us is to take a drone over the historical trail route so you can see the land that the Overmountain men took, and they will interview some folks from the community. And so it's about a year-long process to get community support. We don't know where it's headed, but they've had great success in other communities. So you should have this pledge sheet so far. The Sullivan County Commission passed in their budget last August $7,000. Carter County Parks and Rec put in their budget $5,000. Elizabethton $5,000. Abingdon $5,000. Washington County, Virginia $2,500. Bristol, the MTPO, if you're not familiar with that acronym, it's the Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organization. And Sullivan County and the whole area is in the Bristol's transportation, and that's TDOT dollars. And then, of course, the Overmountain Victory Trail Association, even though they're a nonprofit, they pledged $2,000 to commit to this project. We also got $2,500 from the East Tennessee Foundation, and Eastman just recently pledged $1,000. And then the South Holston Ruritan Club. So we are missing $4,500. I don't expect Bluff City to pledge $4,500, but you are the missing component from Abingdon to Sycamore Shoals, or past Sycamore Shoals, actually, to Gap Creek area is the scope of the project. And so, like I said, 22 miles of potential trails in Sullivan County, which will link up to Washington County. The old Watauga Road is the route that the Overmountain men took during Revolutionary War days, and so that would have been Highway 44. It turns into Highway 75 when you go to Washington County, Virginia. And then that comes up near the Creeper Trail and connects. So potentially the Overmountain Victory Trail would connect from the Creeper Trail, the Appalachian Trail, the Tweetsie Trail, and then us. So it's a really cool plan. We may not see it in our lifetime, but you got to start planning or it'll never happen. So Mayor Wells invited me here. Of course, she's been a part of this partnership, you know, for as long as she's been in office and as an alderman. And I know all of you all have as well. And we've had some great projects going on, and we just want to continue that partnership with Bluff City. The National Park Service, if you recall, also paid for the sidewalk improvements from the trailhead down Main Street, up Carter, leading to Bluff City Middle School. So that was all paid for by National Park Service funding, and the Job Corps did the installation. So we were really able to stretch the dollars there. That's actually a certified trail, even though it's a concrete sidewalk. It's still a trail. It's an urban trail, but it gets the kids safely down to the trailhead every year. So we hope to be able to continue the trail down Carter Street. Your portion would be past the middle school, whether it's a footpath or something like the Tweetsy Trail or a sidewalk. It would go all the way towards 19E and then towards Ridgewood Barbecue. That's the old route. And then on down to Sycamore Shoals. And for me, it would lead from the Swinging Footbridge towards Fort Womack, which is on Silver Grove Road. That's a historic site. We have field trips there with the school kids. And then up to East. And now the interesting thing I need to share with you is you've heard that Sullivan County appropriated funding for the East Middle School site, which is on Harrington Hollow area just across from East Campus. And so the architect and school board and superintendent have agreed to put in some type of outdoor classroom that commemorates the Over Mountain Men and part of their teaching of the Revolutionary War history. So we will have a public feature at the new middle school, and so we're getting that design in on the front end, and it really won't cost any more. And of course the Park Service will do the signage and all of that good stuff. So we're making headway, and we just ask for your support, your continued support as a partner, and any financial pledge that you can make. So I guess that's it.
Thank you, Amber.
You're welcome.
What's the pleasure of the board? Sharon, do we have excess money or money that we could appropriate?
Well, yes, we have some excess money that we can appropriate. It will have to be appropriated through an amendment for the budget.
Because you know, I say about the amendment. So, do any of the board members have a motion or
I'd like to make a
suggestion?
motion, we go ahead and donate the money to them, the $3,000 that they're asking for.
The 3,000?
Yeah.
Do we hear a second? Vote, please.
John, you second.
Yeah.
Alderman Stratton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Harrison,
Yes.
Alderman Bowley.
Yes.
Thank you, Amber.
Thank you very much, and appreciate your time. Does anybody want some updated? I'll leave these with Sharon for the front desk. As you know, Bluff City is on the map for all of our trailhead improvements. You're welcome.
Okay, let's move on to citizens' comments. First section, please come to the podium. You have 3 minutes. Give your name, address, and phone number. Adra?
Carolyn Payne, 4818 Bluff City Highway, 538-9108. I wish that the engineering firm had not left. I have some questions on Project 2 and 3, and then Resolution 2016-002. And Section 4 of that, it appears as though we're going to get a special levy tax on us. The residents, there's 1,700 of us. That's pretty much it, I guess. I'm not quite sure I understand the $200,000 that was Water and Sewer Interfund Loan Capital Outlay, Extension Series 2014. not to exceed $133,334. And then you jump to the back for attachment 1, and it is an interfund capital outlay extension note for water and sewer from general funds. December 3, 2014. Maturity date, December 3, 2017. Nothing really is making sense. So let's go back to the streets. Main Street was listed. As far as I can read in those documents, you're going to replace water lines only on 13 streets, and Main Street is not even listed. You're going to replace sewer lines on just 7 streets. I mean, I have them listed here somewhere in all of this. Panola, Lakeview, Gerald, Bluff City Highway, Vickers, now Highland Drive's added, Highland Circle, Lakeview Circle, James Avenue, Kentucky Avenue, Summit Avenue, Jonesboro Drive. That's 13 streets, and Main Street's not on there, and that's just for water. 7 streets, Highland Drive, Highland Circle, Lakeview Circle, James Avenue, Kentucky Avenue, Summit Avenue, and Jonesboro Drive. 7 streets. I mean, do I have this right or do I have it wrong? And we've got 1,045 water users that pay, and only 665 sewer users that pay. Where's the rest of this money going to come from? And let's talk about the $400,000 bond that has a balloon rate on it from our last meeting of the 30th with the auditor's report. How many bonds do we have out there? How much do we owe?
Time is up. I'll answer the bond part. That 400 is 397,000 though. What that was the first first sewer part that we did. It was 356,000, I believe is what it was, and that was a loan from. We're just using what money we need as of right now. They haven't set up the payment plans of yet, so that balloon payment it shows up on there because it has not. We haven't used all the money, or we haven't been done with using what we need.
Right. I know that there's another $1,182,000 that's outstanding.
So once we get done with it, everything will be set up on the payment.
Well, am I correct about the streets? I mean, how many streets are we doing?
We just picked the ones that had the most wear and tear, damage, and stuff.
I know, and they're
dead end lines.
And they're listed in the loan agreement.
Right.
So, I mean, this information is public information, and I don't know how we're going to pay for all of this, people.
Your time is up, though. We'll get to it in the second section then. Anyone else for citizens' comments? Yeah, come to the podium. Give your name, address, and phone number, please.
Shirley Clark, 932 Lona Lane, 423-878-5707. This is just about my third visit here, so I don't understand the financial aspect of a lot of things, just like the lady that was here a few minutes ago. If you could just explain to me how, we've got this huge debt, however, we've got money set aside, and I don't understand where that comes from and how that can be applied to things instead of being applied to some of the debt that we have. If you could just explain that to me, I'd appreciate it.
It just where we're under budget, on the budget, correct?
Yeah. You can have money in the bank, but you have to appropriate what you have coming in a year's time annually. Okay, if you have less appropriated than the amount coming in, the expenses therefore, and the payments, we have to appropriate the payments each year, not the total loan. It has to be appropriated, the payments and the interest, the principal and the interest.
I cannot quite find that on the budget.
David?
David Smith, 200 Highland Circle, 538-4736. Really, I don't see why the citizens are paying for this, period. We've had the cameras down there, and all them millions of dollars that we have took in, we never stuck a dime in the infrastructure or done nothing to the old water tank treatment plant out there. We were supposed to put $1.5 million in it 9 years ago, 10 years ago. We haven't stuck no money in it. And now you're coming up and saying, hey, you got to pay this. Now the camera money's leaving, $114,000 a year, and I don't see where you're going to come from. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, David. Anybody else? If not, we'll move on to discussion action on public hearing ordinance number 2017-002, ordinance to amend section 15305 with the speed limit on Highway 44, 390 to 35 miles an hour. Paul Fry.
Be it therefore ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the Town of Bluff City, Tennessee, that Section 15-305 of the Bluff City Municipal Code be hereby amended by changing the speed limit on the entire stretch of Highway 44/Highway 390 to 35 miles per hour. This is ready for a public hearing and second reading.
Do we have any citizens' comments on that?
I thought you tried to do that a couple of years ago.
We did, but it didn't get nowhere. Okay. Do we have any motions to approve?
I make a motion to approve this speed limit change.
I'll second. A vote, please, Sharon.
Alderman Stratton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Harrison,
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Okay. Now we move on to discussion action on public hearing ordinance 2017-003, ordinance to amend Title 10, Chapter 2 of Bluff City Municipal Code dealing with adequate food, adequate shade, adequate shelter for dogs and cats. J. Paul Fry.
Title 10, Chapter 2 of the Bluff City Municipal Code be hereby amended by adding the following code sections and renumbering 10-208 dealing with violations of the same. This has to do with adequate food, adequate shade, and adequate shelter for dogs and cats. Any violation of this ordinance would be a fine between $10 and $50.
Do we have any citizens' comments? If not, do we have a motion to approve? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Vote, please, Sharon.
Alderman Stratton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Harrison,
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Since Irene's not here, we'll move on to report from City Attorney Paul Fry.
I don't have a report this evening other than most of the delinquent taxpayers have been served, and the ones that have not been served will be publishing in the papers soon for that.
Okay. Thank you, Paul Fry. Discussion action on financial report, Sharon.
Fund balances as of December 31st, 2016. General fund, $750,100. Sanitation fund, $10,748. Special police fund, $7,429. Debt service fund, $86,217. Sinking fund, $3,095. FHA reserve fund, $691. Water sewer fund, $557,747, with a total fund balance of $1,416,027.
Do we have a motion to approve the financial report as read?
I make a motion to be approved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Vote, please, Sharon.
Alderman Stratton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Harrison,
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, comments from board members. Alderman Jack Stratton. Comment is all.
I was meditating on something else and it caught me off guard. I appreciate everybody. I know I tell you every time that we meet and I'm here, I really do. I like to see people come out Whether you agree or disagree with me, as I've said before, come on out. I want to look at them smiley faces. We got one ready to cheer there, I think. And I also would like to thank the police department. I've had to use them quite a bit here recently. It's personal matters, I'll tell you what it was, but I appreciate them for what they do. You know, you never stop a lot of times and just sit and see what other people do. You think they got it made, but I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want to do it. And I appreciate people who will go out and do the things they have to do. I don't know how many of you realize that there's a lot of drugs, a lot of stuff that's floating around to people. And if you, and I say this, and I think I have the right to say it, is that we need to deal with people like that and get them out of our city. Get them out. Get them caught. Get them jailed. Because believe me, they can really cause a lot of problems. Thank you for that. That's just a little extra. I won't charge you for that.
Thank you, Jack. Alderman John Harrison.
I appreciate everybody coming out. That's about all I got.
Thank you. Alderman Richard Bowling.
I appreciate everybody coming out, and I'd just like to say that I know you people is concerned about the way the city's run and by the way the questions and the comments that you make, and we just hope we can get everything worked out. Thank you.
And myself, I appreciate everybody coming out, and thank you for taking it easy on me. It could be a lot worse. So I appreciate that, and Irene should be back tomorrow, if not Thursday, but she'll be back. Okay, reports from city officials and county commissioners. Chief of Police Greg Depew.
Evening, board, Vice Mayor, Fry. This month in your packet, some things I can kind of go into a little bit about what we're doing, some things we can't, some things I can. As usually on the report, it's just very simple. So many calls, this, that, and the other, and you never really get an insight on some things we're doing. So I just wrote down a few things that I wanted to go over with. Chaparral Motors had vandalism, had multiple cars, bricks thrown through their windshields. Piney Flats, we went out there, that was solved, and restitution was made. We worked that. They were a theft of a bicycle. We recovered the bicycle. The owner of the bicycle was thrilled. They were a credit card fraud. That was solved. Arrest was made. Money scam. If anybody calling you wanting to give money, they're targeting elderly people. Send money to Jamaica, and believe me, there's people sending money and lots of it. So we worked that with Homeland Security, and Homeland Security's still working that. We've kind of backed out now. They're working on some stuff. Unless we got more, they'd need our assistance, but we kind of turned all that over to them. But we worked that pretty hard to try to solve that. There was a pistol, a .22 caliber pistol that was discharged in the city limits by an 11-year-old boy who lived in the county. We handled that the best way I thought we could. We met with the parents, and that was handled. He came to the office. We met with the parents. We handled that with no charges. Try to do what we can to solve it the best way we can. I thought it was appropriate. We handled that the right way with the boy, and I think we should be good from here on out. But this is just a few things. There's more, but this is some things I can tell you about and kind of discuss so you kind of know what we're doing. We had a total of 130 calls. We had 65 citations. We give 23 warnings. Patrolled a total of 4,923 miles. Had 10 arrests, 10 offense reports, 3 alarms, 10 accidents, 3 MSDs. We had 3 animal calls and 8 MSDs, 2 domestics, or 5 domestics, had 1 seizure, had 1 missing person report, and had 1 drug violation. And that's pretty much it. So things are going well, and I do want to say this. We've been in contact with Ford Motor Company. Those cars have been built. They have been sent to the place to install the light bars, all the bells and whistles on them. And they're still telling me the 15th, between the 15th and the 20th. And everybody's working very hard. Believe me, the phone calls being made. Sharon even called the Ford company herself the other day before I thought she was going to have some blood pressure issues. I said, let me go to the Ford company because they've really, really worked hard on trying to get her cars. So it's nothing that myself has done. It's nothing anybody here's done, nothing the board's done. It's been a delay with the Ford company because it's just the way it works. When we bought the Dodges, it was delayed some. But everybody's worked very hard, and the good news is they're telling me the 15th, between the 15th and the 20th, we'll have them. So, all right, that's it. Thank you, Board.
Public Works Supervisor Alan Moultrie.
Good evening, Board, Mayor, Alderman. As in the street sewer department, the pump stations are operating normally with no issues since the startup of the pump stations. We still have a few adjustments that needs to be made, which should be fixed in the coming weeks. None of the adjustments will affect the pump stations from operating at normal levels. When I say adjustments, what I'm talking about, it's the dollar system that we have, what they have set up right now. It'll send us a text or email, and pretty much that won't suffice. We need an actual phone call if we actually have an overflow or something, because if you get an email, you don't always check your email as soon as that happens. So that's one of the issues that we do have to get fixed. As in the Igloo pump station, we're still running that on the old dollar system, so it'll still call us whenever we have that issue. But as in the Bridge pump station, it didn't have the old dollar system, so we're just basically banking on the texts and the emails still, and we still have the lights that actually will be buzzing and the sirens going off if it was to get the high well level alarm. So that will be fixed in the coming weeks. As in the street department, the staff has been keeping up with scraping and salting of the roadway whenever the roads are bad. We also have been out picking out trash at Bluff City Highway and along all throughout town pretty much, and also picking up brush. And for the most part, we've just basically been on repeat, constantly kind of pretty much doing the same things over and over again, because this is pretty much one of the slow seasons. So, besides that, that's all I pretty much have. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I can.
We thank you, Alan.
All right. Thank you all.
You too. Water Department, Dean Fields.
Good evening, Board, Vice Mayor. The water plant's operating normally. We're pumping an average of 255,000 a day. Our tank level averaged out at 47.3 feet in the month of January. We're still waiting on our sample plan from TDEC to inform us on the upcoming samples we're required to take for the next 3 years. As soon as we receive the email, we'll begin our sample plan and get these samples taken. We are also finishing up our CCR for 2016, and we will send the info out with our customer's water bill. I talked about getting the CCR out earlier, but we're kind of waiting on our system we purchased from. We've got to get some information from them. So that's kind of what we're waiting on. The distribution system, we are also waiting on our sample site plan from TDEC. We continue doing our leak detection on a weekly basis. We are using more water due to the colder temperatures when customers run their water to keep them from freezing when the temperatures drop below. We also began our flushing for 2017 and hope to be finished by late summer. In the winter months, we can only flush when weather allows us to because of the freezing temperatures. And anybody have any questions or comments?
Questions, comments? Appreciate everything you do. Thank you. Okay, we're down to old business.
Are you going to approve the minutes of the meeting for January, the regular meeting and special call meeting?
That is a good question. They wasn't ready.
Not on the agenda.
No, they wasn't on the agenda. They must not have been ready.
It's normally done.
Mm-hmm. Right. They wasn't ready, I'm assuming.
No, they weren't ready.
They were posted online already. Videos have been.
Bill had a death in her family. She didn't get that typed out. The clerk did. The clerk had a death in her family, did not get the minutes typed up.
Who types the minutes?
can we let's move on to old business? Old business, do we have any old business? No old business? Well, can we move along? Keep us moving. The trash, is that under the old business, Sharon? Increasing it, we talked about that in the last special called meeting. No. Okay. No old business, we go new business.
Yes, we will, we're working on that to figure out
Proper rates.
possibilities you have to try to keep from raising the rates.
Right. So they're
We
improving
have
on
to coordinate it with the state because it is an enterprise fund.
Right. Okay. Do we have any new business? No new business. New business. Okay. Back to citizens' comments. Have 3 minutes, give name, address, and phone number. I was going to say, if you have some more stuff, go ahead.
Carolyn Payne, 4818 Bluff City Highway, 5389108. Sharon read off some of the dollar figures from the appropriated for fiscal year. That's ordinance 2016-006. Sinking fund has never been in there, so I'm going to repeat myself again on resolution number 2016-002 and read you a paragraph. The governing body of the local government hereby authorizes the levy and collection of a special tax on all taxable property of the local government over and above all the other taxes authorized by the local government to create a sinking fund to retire the notes with interest as they mature in amount necessary for that purpose. Then the next sentence is, the extension note shall be further secure. And I'm sorry, I'm upset tonight. The extension note shall be further secured by the revenues of the local government's water and sewer utility. Everything's going up. Not on the agenda for approving those minutes. That's not right. I please ask that Bluff City's website be fully updated. I had to get a printout of the resolutions for 2016. They're now on there, but I paid out of pocket to get them. 2015, and I did request, and I spoke to Sharon about this, update 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012. Same thing with the ordinances. We can't leave anything out there to chance. And when we get the reports from Chief Depew, Alan Moultrie, Dean Fields, that's an attachment. It should be attached to the minutes of the meetings, and I want it that way. And I also want to be able to fill and file a request form online. We do have an age of technology, and my experience right next door of being escorted out by the police was not a good experience. Only because I went in there to pick up a request form. Now, I want to send it in via email and get my response via email with attachments. Can you make that happen?
Anyone else have citizens' comments? Becky?
Becky Buchanan, 750 Dry Branch Road, Bluff City, 276-1165. I don't have a comment, but I have a question. The road in front of the middle school where Jack Stratton lives at, in the afternoons, there's traffic from where parents is picking up the kids on both sides of the road. I mean, it's all the way from Goods Trailer Park all the way down to the Methodist Church. I went up through there the other day and I thought, what if the rescue squad had to come up through here, or the fire department, or they was emergency? They could not get those vehicles up through there. Is there something y'all can do about that?
Not sure. We'd have to talk to Greg Depew and get the chief in on that, the police
I mean, they're parking on both sides of the road.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And it goes all the way down to the Methodist Church, and sometimes it's past. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I went through there, and I drive a little old truck. Huh?
Y'all let you talk, but you just quiet it. I don't mind you talking, just, quiet it.
So, is there anything the city can do, or, I mean, it needs to be done for the safety of the people down there.
Talk to the chief and see what he can do about
Right.
it.
I've
At least one side of it clear.
And what did the chief
about
say?
the problems. 'Cause the school buses are actually going over speed limit. I mean, you say, how do you know? You can't tell by looking at it. But I do know that even last year, when a teenage girl got hit up her, the bus ran in out in front of it. I don't know who got the ticket, but I said I followed that up because the girl was innocent.
Yeah.
The bus just pulled out and hit it. I had this personal experience with my neighbor, Harry Talbert. We was coming down. The woman flagged for us to go up the hill. A school bus passed us right there where the road comes off the hill.
Right.
And that's one of it hit and hurt a lot of people. So I get aggravated with bus driving that's going on.
Well, this is, just cars, and I mean, it's, something needs to be done about it, though.
I agree with that, and I talked to Chief, and he's been working on it. We're trying to figure out ways to
Go about it.
slow them buses down.
Well, I can understand parents picking their kids up with all the bus wrecks and the bullying on the buses and anything, but they need to be a safer way to be able to pick the kids up instead of blocking the road where the emergency crew can't get through.
Well, I'd just like for us a little bit in on that. Last year, I sat in my front yard for 3 days in the evening time and, wrote down how many buses stopped coming off the hill. There was at least 4 or 5 buses out of the crew would not stop. I don't care how many days I'd watch it. They always had a habit to just keep it going. And nobody down there to direct them, and the police department don't have that many people that they can continuously do it. Think about that. I mean, it's dangerous for our kids.
That's why we need crossing guards.
Well, they run them stop signs. They just, I guess, they feel like they got the right to do what they want to. But somebody's going to have to say something to them. I think we need to let the county know what's going on. And when it comes to kids, I get a little upset. You can probably tell by my voice. People get out here and do stuff to hurt their kids. They don't need that. I mean, I'm thankful so far that nobody got seriously hurt, but they could have. Those kids, when they get out of school, their mind's not on the road or nothing else. They're hooting in a home.
Do we have any more citizens' comments? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Vote, please.
Alderman Stratton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Harrison,
Yes.
Alderman Bowling.
Yes.